Good afternoon. I'm Helen Nolan. I'm the CPO for Penguin Strategies. Today, I have the pleasure of talking to two of our long-serving members of staff, namely Gabby Yanover and Danny Paz, about the possibilities that there are for career developments within Penguin. So for those of you who have checked out Penguin on Glassdoor, you'll see we have an excellent rating, currently standing at 4.8, and some solid positive feedback. But we've also noted that, amongst other things, Penguin is frequently quoted as being a great place to start your marketing career. I frequently hear this from prospective candidates when they write to me. This short interview will not only underscore that reputation, but I think it's also going to highlight that the fact that Penguin also, as well as a springboard, is a destination. So let me start by asking you, Gabby, how long have you been at Penguin? What was your work experience before you started? And what role did you come into?
I've been at Penguin now for, I think, about 5.5 years. I pretty much started as entry level. I had a little bit experience, like 6 months working in a company where I was assisting a marketing manager, but it was mostly like offline marketing. It wasn't digital marketing. We weren't using HubSpot. And when I moved to Israel, I saw the opportunity to start my career at Penguin Strategies, marketing coordinator. And over the years, I moved from marketing coordinator, account manager, and now I'm directing the director of the implementation team.
Great. So, and also I wanted to know, so you came from Canada, is that right, Gabby? So,
yeah, I came from Canada with background in interior design, so a little bit different than marketing, but
okay. Did you envision that you would ever be in marketing? Was this something you had on your kind of career path?
You know, like when you learn interior design, you also have to learn how to market yourself. So I did like that side of it, and presenting yourself and branding. So moving careers wasn't such a shock, but it's definitely a little bit different than the design world.
And Danny, yours is an interesting one because I believe currently you're the only member of our team who has had a journey in Penguin, not only in terms of your career, but also literally because you've worked on the Israeli team here in Israel, and you're now currently working from the US remote team, although you're working with Gabby. So do you want to tell us a little bit about how long you've been here, when you started, what kind of role you came into, and what kind of experience you had before you joined Penguin?
So I've been at Penguin for almost 4.5 years. A little kind of similar to Gabby. I started as an entry level as a marketing coordinator, except I came straight out of college, so I hadn't had any previous work experience. And I also kind of had a similar path where I started as a marketing coordinator, transitioned into more of an account project manager position. And then I recently have discovered that I've been very interested in the type of team that Gabby's been directing, which is the implementation team. So I've recently joined over to that team, which I've so far have really enjoyed. And I'm very excited to continue on in that path. And you mentioned earlier about me having a very a different experience than anyone else. I've definitely had a very unique perspective, and it's really cool seeing it come back full circle. Because I definitely, when I started in Israel, I actually got a lot of training from Gabby and learned a lot from her and worked a lot with her. And then when I moved over to the US team, we would still talk and more socially, but we kind of broke away from the actual working together. And it's been very, very awesome getting to work again with Gabby on her team and kind of getting back on the Israel side, but still living in the US. So that's been very cool. And it's given me the opportunity to kind of see how the Israel team works, understand the people in Israel as well as the people in the US. So that's been very just useful and almost an advantage.
Yeah. The challenge, that we're seeing with running, the remote team in the US and trying to foster this culture, similar culture, and trying to get everyone together, it is difficult. But I think, as you say, you're in that unique position where you've seen both sides and it gives you a different perspective. So Gabby, do you ever get an opportunity, apart from obviously working with Danny, do you get an opportunity to work with the US team?
We often are pulled in to help or support with projects that they're working on, or if they have questions. So we do from time to time work, but definitely since we've had Danny join our team, we've had a lot more interaction. I've had a lot more interaction with Danny and US clients, because we can handle having those clients since we have Danny to support them.
And in terms of, when I speak to candidates who are coming in or want to apply for a job in Penguin Strategies, one of the, not concern is probably a bit too strong word, but people are a little bit apprehensive about agency life. And I think the reputation out there is very frenetic, there's kind of lack of communication and collaboration. And I guess what I would like both of you to perhaps share with us is the highlights in terms of working in an agency, but how has it been working in that frenetic environment? How is it with your colleagues? Is it a positive? Has it been positive, negative?
I've had a really amazing positive experience in the agency. I think something very special at Penguin specifically is somehow they've managed to collect a really great group of employees and colleagues, and both in the professional working way. They're all working really hard. They support each other, but also just in who they are and the personalities. And so many people have come and gone, and over the 5.5 years that I'm still friends with, and we still bounce ideas off of each other. And I think it's also because you do work with a lot of clients and a lot of different companies, and you work together, and you have questions. You always have someone to ask. You always have another perspective. Someone sees something a different way than you. So the collaboration really helps build that positive environment. So even though it can sometimes be like hectic or busy, everyone's always willing to help each other, and I think that's really, really nice.
Great. And also one of our values, collaboration and empathy. So it's good to hear that's live and kicking. Danny, what about you? Have you got any comments on coping with agency life, but still, kind of creating that culture, the things that the highlights that you've experienced while you've been working with us?
I would definitely say that anyone who's starting for the first time a new job, I would highly recommend starting at an agency, because it's only going to set you up for success. Because I'm biased. I only know working for an agency, but I know how much exposure it's given me and how much just organization. I always have to be on top of my game. I need to be able to juggle different clients and know different types of verticals, knowing different types of marketing strategies, and just having, like Gabby said, being able to reach out to people on your team and bounce ideas off your team. But I really, really, really do believe that this has set me up for success for anywhere I do want to go eventually, maybe in the future, not for an agency. But I wouldn't choose a different company to be at. And I've also spoken to lots of people who have worked at agencies who have also either came to Penguin later in their life or have left Penguin to go somewhere else. And they've always said that Penguin is not like the typical agency life. And it's just a very special type of place to be at, but also gives you that, like I said in the beginning, really great exposure to all those areas and it's only gonna make you more successful.
Great, it's good to hear. So finally, I just wonder, if you had, Danny, you kind of said it with the tip of start off in an agency. I guess you learned to juggle, very quickly. You haven't got that in-house experience of just focusing on one particular client, your employer. Gabby, do you have any tips or anything that you would pass on to someone who wants to either start off in marketing or is transitioning from another job into marketing?
Like, don't feel pressured to like be jumping to a manager position right away. I mean, I think for me, part of the reason why I can handle so many things now is because I've been there. I've done all the work. I've done all the dirty work. I've been the person where people tell me what to do, and sometimes we have annoying jobs that are repetitive and take a long time, but I've been there. I know how important it is to get done just as much as the strategic work. And I think being just open to doing those things, getting experience, taking all the opportunities, this is technical, gaining your technical skills and building those skills, learning the different aspects is really, really important, because later on, when you do reach a higher role, you'll stand out when you actually can know how to do something, or can say, oh, I'll jump in there, I can help out, I can do that. It's really, really valuable. And I think people really appreciate it, and it really helps you stand out from other people.
That's a great piece of advice. I appreciate that. As you say, it's so important to put in the, I know you've heard me say it many times, but I call it the flying lessons, the flying hours to get your pilots, the Pels. Because you're right, you know the business from the bottom up. And again, I think with Danny, who's had this is a very interesting thing, because you were quite a senior account manager, and you decided to then that you wanted to try something new. So there was that ability to pivot. And you've seen another side that you can then bring into your kind of portfolio of skills. So I want to thank you both for the time that you've spent with me today. It's been really enjoyable. And anyone out there who is interested in inbound marketing, please contact us. You can go onto our website, penguinstrategies.com, or find us and drop us an email. Danny, Gabby, and I will be more than happy to answer any questions. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.